Manipulation of sports competitions has emerged as a new global threat to professional sports organizations. Match-fixing cases, which are usually still unknown to the general public, emerged around the time of the sports betting and internet boom, which occurred less than 10 years ago. Sport was caught off guard by this sudden shift and was confronted head-on by this new phenomenon. Today, organized crime uses sport and betting to diversify its traditional activities such as drug trafficking, racketeering, and prostitution. According to a recent Europol study, organized crime groups earn 120 million euros per year from betting-related match fixing and sporting events. Corruption and game rigging are prevalent in sports ranging from football to tennis, and clubs are just as vulnerable as individual players. There are some solutions, but implementing them in an international environment dominated by tax havens and private interests is difficult. Here are the 5 sports that are mostly controlled by the Mafia. Number 1. Football. Various scandals have plagued Italian football over the years, linking these crimes to the groups. These allegations are not limited to one club or region of Italy, but have recently been made against the Calabrian Mafia, 'Ndrangheta, and Vincenzo Iaquinta, and Sicily's world-renowned Mafia, Cosa Nostra, and Massimo Zamparini. Another iconic case in Italy's south was the signing of the recently deceased Diego Armando Maradona. At the time of his transfer from Barcelona to Napoli, the Italian club was in financial trouble. Despite this, they pulled off a world-breaking signing, which sparked heated debate about where the money came from. Fixing a match only requires bribing a player, players, the coach, or the referee. But several organized crime groups have gone one step further, purchasing a club or a majority stake in a club. Southeast Asian, particularly Chinese networks employ this strategy, scouting clubs in financial distress and making an offer. Private individuals as well as businesses are involved. Number 2. Boxing. Boxing, more than any other sport, has a history of being easy to rig. There are only 2 athletes, and one or both could be bribed. If not the fighters, the judges or referee could be swayed. Under such favorable conditions, the mob moved into boxing in the 1940s and profited by corrupting a sport ripe for exploitation. The truth is that boxing is still in the hands of the Mafia, which took control as early as the 1940s when boxing czar Paul "Frankie" Carbo controlled not only boxers but also referees, judges, and commissions. They first became involved in boxing in the late 1920s, with their international boxing club connections and their relationship with its corrupt president, Jim Norris. They controlled boxing throughout the 1950s and 1960s. The courts dissolved the IBC, which cost the mob some of their hold on the sport. When figures like Frankie Carbo and Blinky Palermo were sentenced to 25 years in prison, it did a lot to clean up the mob in boxing. Estes Kefauver was a pivotal figure in breaking that stranglehold. Other, more independent crime groups and professional gamblers continue to have some influence in boxing today, but we don't have the Mafia and widespread fight fixing that we saw during its heyday. However, it is very obvious they're still present, though very hidden. Number 3. Tennis. While football is the most heavily impacted sport, criminals are increasingly interested in tennis. Tennis match-fixing schemes have grown in popularity in recent years. According to Europol, approximately 500 matches were known to be manipulated between 2014 and 2018, but the true number is likely to be much higher. It is worth noting that known fraud increased 9-fold between 2016 and 2017. Tennis is appealing because it has a small number of key actors. making manipulation as simple as approaching one player or an umpire. The primary targets are thought to be International Tennis Federation futures and Association of Tennis Professionals (ATP) challenger tournaments. Criminals typically place small or medium-sized bets on events with total prize money ranging from $5,000 to $10,000. These matches are usually not video recorded, and a player's sudden injury is often enough to achieve the desired results. Such deception is nearly impossible to detect and prove. Number 4. Basketball. The Mafia has been and continues to be heavily involved in the outcome of NBA games. Tim Donaghy worked as an NBA referee for 13 years before resigning in 2007 amid a betting scandal that rocked the league and tarnished its reputation. He was sentenced to 13 months in federal prison after admitting to accepting money from a professional gambler in exchange for insider information on NBA operations, including games he officiated. When there is a sporting event with a Vegas line, there will always be someone involved in organized crime trying to make a buck off it, constantly attempting to gain access to that referee, a player, or a trainer or coach who can provide them with inside information from which they can profit. Number 5. Baseball. On the program, Francese, who was sentenced to 10 years in prison in 1986 on racketeering, conspiracy, and tax fraud charges, stated that he became involved with some professional athletes, including members of the Yankees, when they ran up gambling debts with Colombo family bookies and were unable to pay them. He stated that he had instructed the players to do whatever was necessary to obtain the funds and pay off the debts. And if all else fails, he said, "I've got another way for you to make it up. You're going to assist us in winning a game." The Mafia's involvement in baseball has spread to Taiwan, but it is primarily concentrated in the United States. New Dodgers player Chin Hui-Tsao was barred from playing in Taiwanese baseball in 2009 following allegations of game fixing, but the scandal is much larger than one man. Once again, it appears that the Mafia has considerable control over another aspect of our lives, making sports more of a money-making venture than an entertainment one. As a result, the Mafia demonstrates sufficient power to carry out all of this behind the scenes and generate billions of dollars each year. If you have any suggestions, or if we left out an important fact on the Mafia-controlled sports, please let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for new Mafia World videos every day. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.